Apparently, Blake Lively has a hair care brand. Let's talk about it. By the way, I'm KJ Miller. I'm a founder, lecturer, and content creator. I love talking about all things business, beauty, and pop culture. If you like any of that, be sure to subscribe. Now let's get into it. Okay, so full disclosure, I had no idea that Blake Lively had a hair care brand until about an hour ago when I was doing a TikTok live. The theme was Ask Me Anything, and people were asking me lots of great questions. One of the questions I got was, what do you think about Blake Lively's hair care brand? And actually, no, the question was, what do you think about Blake Lively's brand? And I was like, her brand of what? What are we talking about? I know she has alcohol, or is it mixers? And then they said it was hair care. And my flabber was gasted because I didn't know she had a hair care brand. So now what I would like to do is live react to this brand. Okay. You're going to see my reaction as I see it, because I literally just went to the website just now before I press go on this video, and we're going to react to it. Now, before I look at it and say anything, let me tell you how I tend to think about celebrity beauty brands. And I have spoken about this before, actually on my old podcast. I had a podcast about a year and a half ago called Not Another Business Podcast. There are lots and lots of episodes. It's like over 50 episodes if you want to go binge it. But we spoke about this topic, celebrity brands, what makes some successful and some flop. And it's my personal opinion that, like any other brand, a celebrity brand has to have a real reason for being, has to have a differentiator, right? If it's just another brand, but you've slapped the celebrity's name on it, it'll be somewhat successful. It'll be more successful than the average startup, at least to start, because it's got brand recognition. So that means probably in its first quarter, it's going to do a couple million in sales, no matter what, right? Particularly if it's a very, very well-known, well-loved celebrity. No matter what, because you've got the name recognition, you're probably going to get a couple million in sales when you first launch. But the question is, are people going to come back? And are people who aren't your fans going to want to buy? To make that happen, you have to have a real reason for being, and your marketing has to really speak to that reason for being. It's got to be cohesive with whatever it is you're telling me the brand is. That has to come across in the messaging. Anyway, I speak about this much more in that podcast episode if you want to go look it up. But now, with that in mind, now that you know how I tend to think about whether or not I think a brand really has legs, let's react to it. So let me start with, I went to the front page and it says, you've sold us out. Okay, so first and foremost, it's already sold out. So maybe it's amazing. But like I said, this is kind of case in point. If it's a big enough celebrity, you're going to get sales. You are going to automatically get some sales. That doesn't tell us anything about how successful the brand really is going to be. It tells us you've got a big and loyal audience, which is great. Now, let me read this message that it says here. It says, first, you made us the biggest hair care launch at Target on record. And now this, they're sold out. So this is giving me the chance to sign up. I'm not going to do that because I don't know yet if this is for all hair types. I don't know anything about this brand. Okay, so let's at least look. All right, so now what I first see here is iconic hair every day. Now, I will say, I like that. I like that messaging, because I'll tell you what, when I think about Blake Lively, what comes to mind for me and her brand is fashion icon. People have used that phrase to describe Blake Lively for years now. So putting iconic right up front in the messaging, that feels very, very much on brand for her. And I like that she's saying iconic hair every day, because what does that tell me? Now, I am a bit of a marketer, so I might read more into things than, I don't know, just like the average Joe Schmo. But to me, what that's telling me is she's saying, you want hair that looks as good as my hair looks on a daily basis. These are the products you need to use on a daily recurring basis to make it happen. So she's saying, I'm going to give you the iconic hair. I'm going to give you the glam that you know me for, but I'm going to give it to you in a way that you can actually use every day. You're not having to go get blowouts. You're not going to having to go to a professional stylist. These products are going to get you there. That's what I'm reading just off top. Okay. And so I think that's smart, because we know her as a fashion icon. She's telling me I can get her iconic look with these products every day. I think that's smart. I think that's smart, Blake Lively. Okay, let's continue diving in. All right, and then underneath that it says nourish, strengthen, scent, and style. Okay, I don't like that. I don't like that because grammatically it doesn't make sense. Are we using verbs? Are we using nouns? Why are we mixing them? I don't like that. I don't think that makes grammatical sense. But I like the line on top. Okay, so that's where I am so far. And I think these images are nice. I mean, listen, I think it's very much a choice to make Blake Lively very much front and center. This is a choice that any celebrity has to make when they are launching a brand. I will contrast that actually to Sacred, Beyonce's haircare brand. Let me go to her site. Okay, so here's a picture of Beyonce's homepage. And I remember when Sacred launched, yes, there was some imagery of Beyonce, but it was not the focal point in such a huge way. The focal point really was the product and really was showcasing different textures of hair and how, different textures and hair types looked after using the product. So Beyonce obviously was a part of the launch, but she was not front and center nearly as much as what I'm getting from this site with Blake Lively. And that is a choice that any celebrity has to make. You have to decide, what do I want to put forth? Do I want it to be all about me? Do I want it to be all about the products? Do I want it to be all about the customers? So it's definitely a choice. In this case, well, I mean, it looks like, first of all, she sold out. I do believe Sacred sold out as well for their first run. But she sold out, and apparently biggest hair care launch in Target's history. So you could argue it makes sense. And I think I would argue that because, again, if we're talking about iconic hair and Blake Lively is the icon, it makes sense that you would put her front and center. So far, just from a marketing perspective, I haven't even seen these products yet. From a marketing perspective, I'm feeling like she's doing a pretty good job. Okay, now let's dig into these products. Now, as I click onto the shop page, it says designed to combine for effortless style. Already, again, I haven't even scrolled down to look at the products, but let me tell you, very smart. I'm liking whoever from the marketing team helped Blake. And let me not diminish her role. I've seen people say on the internet she's a very smart marketer. Maybe she came up with the whole thing. For Blake and her team, whoever came up with this so far, I am liking the marketing, because what does this tell me? Right up front, you got to buy all of it. Okay? Right up front, designed to combine for effortless style. Okay, so she's saying, look, you want your locks to look like my locks, these iconic locks here, this fresh dew. Oh, you got to get it all. You got to get the set. Okay, don't just come up here and buy a shampoo, baby. You have to get the shampoo. You have to get the conditioner. You have to get the gel. I haven't even seen the products yet, y'all. I'm just saying, I'm reacting to the top. Okay, so still haven't even seen everything she offers, but that feels smart to me. Okay, now let me finally scroll down and see what we're talking about. Oh, now this packaging. Okay. Wasn't expecting the hexagons and the trapezoids. I was not. That. Okay. I'm looking at the price points. The price points, it's going to matter a lot to me how big these things are. Okay, because $19 for a shampoo, that's not insane, but these images are looking small. So it matters how much product is in these is in these guys. But I will say, I guess the packaging is striking. That is what I will say. It's striking. I don't know yet that I can say I like it, and I don't know yet that I can say I dislike it. But it is striking, and I feel like would look very distinctive on shelf. And knowing that they launched with Target, like in Target, standing out on shelf is so important. And these days getting harder and harder to do, because there are already so many lines with bright colors, bright yellow, bright red. So like the color alone isn't going to do it. So she went the route of saying, okay, then I'll do it with my shape. So it is striking, and I do think that's smart. Do I like it? I don't know yet, but I think it's smart to go striking. Okay, now let's see how big these are, because right now, to me, these images are making everything look a bit small. So I've clicked into the Fundamental Nourishing Shampoo. It is 14 fluid ounces. That doesn't sound like that much to me, but I need to look at my shampoo just to compare. Hold on. Okay, I just hopped over to Briogeo, which was founded by my homegirl Nancy Twine, and I think makes really beautiful products. Her 8 ounce is $24, and the 8 ounce is kind of their like regular kind of bottle like this, maybe a little bit bigger than this. This is the Minted Better Setter, by the way. Amazing product. So 8 ounces for $24 versus Blake is selling 14 ounces for $19. Okay, so it looks small here, but it must not be that small. I gotta find someone on YouTube I need to see what it looks like in somebody's hand. Hold on. Okay, I found a review from a YouTube creator named Paige Corin. I'm not familiar with her, but I found a review where she is holding the product, because these pictures are hard for me to get my mind around. So she here is holding the shampoo bottle. Okay, it is bigger than I thought. It's still, because of the shape and it's so compact, it's like my mind is having trouble wrapping my mind around it, but it is bigger than I thought. So, and 14 fluid ounces is good for $19. So, okay. All right. Great. That's wonderful. Now let me see what it's saying about the actual product. It's saying it's infused with notes of bergamot, fig, cardamom, sandalwood. Daily dose of moisture to your hair, visibly smooths and tames frizz, leaves hair feeling manageable, soft and noticeably shiny, vegan and made with clean, cruelty-free ingredients. Okay, great. When I look at the pictures of the two women pictured here, not me about to call her Serena, Blake Lively and this model, their hair textures do look a bit different, right? This model, her hair looks curlier, but I would say they're both still type 1, right? Like I have type 4 hair. I think they're type 1, kind of silky. So what does that say to me? To me, it says might not work for me, right? I might not be the target audience. Doesn't mean it's not a good product. Not all hair products are made for all hair types. And this is just me clicking into the first product, but that's sort of the sense I get. This might be very good for someone with type 1, type 2 hair, potentially not so great for me. And also when I'm looking at what it's saying here in the shop, in the product description, it doesn't say anything about good for all hair types. So that would make me think potentially it is not good for all hair types. All right, let's see what else they have. So now I guess the question I have is, are any of these products meant for me? In terms of shampoo, they have the nourishing shampoo and they have the strengthening shampoo. That's it. So in terms of shampoo, if the first one wasn't meant for me, this one, if I'm looking at the pictures, no. Again, it looks like two women with fairly silky hair between Blake and the model. It's a gentle cleansing shampoo enhanced with our proprietary plant protein complex. Again, does not say anything about being for all hair types. So I am not getting the sense that this line is for all hair types. Now, to be clear, just because it doesn't say it would work for my hair type doesn't mean that it just straight up would be terrible, right? Like I've used all manner of shampoos and conditioners when in a pinch. So it's not that I'm saying I think if I use this, my hair is going to fall out. I just think, in my experience, products that work well for type 4 hair tend to be very thick, very luscious, have a lot of moisturizing ingredients, have a lot of slip because there's just a lot of coils and kinks you're trying to work your way through. And I'm not a cosmetic chemist, so I'm sure there are other words I could be using here to describe the sorts of products that might work well for my hair. But I'm guessing some of the products that might work well for my hair would be potentially a bit too heavy for, Blake Lively's hair, right? So the fact that it's not screaming to me, this works for every hair type. It's not screaming to me, works for type 4, works for kinks, works for coils, makes me think that right now this product line is not meant to be focusing on every hair type, which again is okay. I'm actually not going to ding it for that, because if it's not claiming that it's that, I cannot have that expectation, then that's okay, right? Where I think you run into troubles when someone says this is for everybody, this is going to work really well for this person, and then it doesn't. I'm not getting that here. Some people I'm sure will ding her for that, but I tend to think it's more important that you're clear about who your product is for than it is that you try to make something for every single person. Don't tell me it's going to work for me and then it doesn't. Okay, so I've looked at her shampoos. I'm looking at some of the other products here. In terms of the breadth of the assortment, she's got a lot of things. I mean, obviously she has shampoo and conditioner, but she's got 2 different types of masks. She's got what I think is a leave-in conditioner. It's called an all-in wonder leave-in potion. I have to click into that because I'm not sure. She has a dry shampoo. I think it's smart to launch with one of those. A mousse. I think that's smart. Very much a styling collection. Let me see what's in this all-in wonder leave-in potion. This is, according to the site, an all-in-one leave-in potion built for anytime softening, detangling, frizz fighting, priming, hairstyling, and perfuming. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like something for, white girls. Shout out to y'all. I have never once thought to myself, you know what I need right now? I need a product that is going to soften and detangle and fight my frizz and prime and style and perfume. I don't know how I would use this. See, if you use the words leave-in, I'm thinking it's a leave-in conditioner, but she's not calling it that, okay? So I don't know how I would use this, which again just makes me think this is not for me. This is not for me. And frankly, I am okay with that. I don't know that I would trust a hair care product from Blake Lively. She said it was for me. If she said, hey girl, this is for you, I'd be like, Blake, girl, I might rely on you to sell me a polka dot dress. But I don't know if I'm going to rely on you to sell me a leave-in conditioner. So, I don't know that I'm mad at her. Look, I will say this. One, I think the marketing makes sense. I think if I'm thinking about what do I expect from Blake Lively, I expect fashion icon glam. I think the marketing is delivering on that. If I think about from a marketer perspective, what is she nailing? She is nailing the message that you can have that glam, okay? The beautiful locks, the full nourished mane. You can have that with accessible products because these price points are very accessible. Like I said, $19. I think that's a very accessible price point for these products. So you're talking about an accessible price point for the glam. That's what's coming across for me from a messaging standpoint. And I do think that stands out. I feel like what I've seen a lot of in hair care, particularly for brands focusing on textured hair, I've seen a lot in the realm of hair health, right? And while I'm getting some health here, I'm mostly getting a styling story. I'm mostly getting a be the hair icon, get the hair look that you want. I feel like I'm getting a styling message, and what she's trying to sell me is you can have a hair that looks styled as well as mine at a price point that works for you. That's what I'm getting, and I do think that that is a differentiator. I really do. So I will say I'm kind of impressed. I think where she is going to get some points dinged is on the diversity and inclusion, because now I've scrolled down a little bit in the site, and again, these pictures, she has an image here of a bunch of different women. Yes, they have different textures, but none of them have type 4 hair. So it seems pretty clear to me that that is not who this line is for. I am not included in this line. And I know there will be people who take issue with that. I know there are people who feel like Everything should be for everybody. I could not sit up here and tell you that I'm one of those people, because my foundation, for instance, that I love, that I think is the best foundation on the market, there are a whole lot of white girls who can't wear it because my lightest shade isn't light enough. And I very purposefully focused on the segment of the market that I knew wasn't focused on, right? I went after the segment of the market that is often forgotten. And I make no apologies for that. I don't think everything has to be for everybody. I do think you have to be very honest and transparent about who it's for. Don't tell me it's for me if it's not. Don't say, here's a shade, here, black girl, this shade will work for you, and then it doesn't. Don't do that. But if you're being very upfront about the fact that this is who it's for, these textures, these shades, I personally don't tend to fault people for that. But I'm guessing she might get dinged for it. And, I understand that too. But I will say I'm pretty impressed with the cohesive marketing statement. I'm impressed with the look and feel. I think it's striking. I think it would stand out on shelf. And I think it is a compelling message to say, I can get Blake Lively hair at a Target price point. I think that is compelling. So overall, those are my initial thoughts. I would love to know what you guys think. What do you think of this launch? Are you in it? Did you happen to make it to the website before it sold out, or make it over to Target and fight all the girlies and get your own shampoo? Let me know what you think. I would love to hear from you. And as always, if you like this sort of content, please be sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time.